Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into the essentials of Python programming with Visual Studio Code. In this video, we'll be focusing on one of the most fundamental concepts of variables. Understanding how to use variables is crucial for anyone looking to become proficient in Python. By mastering this basic concept, you'll be well prepared for more advanced topics and projects down the line. Let's get started. Let's talk about variables. In Python, variables are used to store data that you can use and manipulate throughout your program. Think of variables as containers that hold information for you. A variable is essentially a name given to a piece of data like X or Y. The variable name will be on the left and the variable value will be on the right of the equal sign. This makes it easier to reference and manipulate data throughout your program. For example, if we want to print a long string multiple times, instead of typing the string repeatedly, we can assign it to a variable. This makes it easier to type and allows us to use tab completion for the variable name. Here, we type our string once and then print it using the variable name. Variable names are often easier to remember than long values when referencing them in different parts of your code. When naming variables, use descriptive names that make your code easier to understand. Variable names should start with a letter or an underscore, and they can contain letters, numbers, and underscores, but no spaces or leading numbers. Python is dynamically typed, meaning you don't have to declare the type of a variable when you create it. You can change the value and type of a variable after it has been created. In this example, we create a variable and assign it a value of 10. Python interprets it as an integer because it is a whole number and not enclosed in quotes. If we want to change the type to a string, we can do so by reassigning the variable to the value hello in quotes. We just saw how we can manually reassign a variable to change its value and type. Similarly, there is implicit typecasting, which occurs automatically during operations in Python. Implicit typecasting, also known as coercion, happens when Python converts a variable to a different type during an operation. For example, when you add an integer and a float, Python converts the integer to a float to perform the operation. Here we add a float value to an integer value. Since the result of the operation is a float, Python implicitly casts the result to a float. Explicit typecasting, or type conversion, is when you manually convert a variable to a specific type using built-in functions. This is useful when you need precise control over the data types in your program. The example here converts a string to an integer using the int function, and ensuring that variables are of the correct type for specific operations. While Python doesn't have true constants, we use uppercase variable names to indicate values that shouldn't change. Variables have scope, which determines where they can be accessed. Local variables are defined inside a function and can only be used within that function. Global variables are defined outside all functions and can be accessed anywhere. When we change example var's value inside the function, it only affects the local version and is temporary, lasting only during the function's execution. Once the function exits, the local variable is destroyed, and references to example underscore var outside the function still refer to the global variable. If you want to modify the global variable inside a function, you can use the global keyword. In this example, we declare that we are using the global variable by using the global keyword inside the function. This tells Python that we want to work with a global example var instead of creating a new local variable. We then modify the value of example var. Now, when we print example var outside the function, we can see that the global variable's value has changed because the modification inside the function affected the global scope. Augmented assignment operators simplify the process of updating the value of a variable by combining an arithmetic operation with an assignment. Instead of writing the full expression, you can use a shorter syntax to achieve the same result. Unpacking in Python enables you to assign values from a list or tuple to individual variables in a single line. This is a convenient way to work with sequences and can make your code more readable and concise. In Python, swapping the values of two variables is straightforward and concise using tuple unpacking, which eliminates the need for a temporary variable and makes the code cleaner and more readable. Understanding variables and how to use them is a fundamental skill in Python programming. They allow you to store and manipulate data effectively, making your code more readable and maintainable. Practice these concepts to get comfortable with using variables in your own projects. Stay tuned for more Python tutorials. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to get notifications of our weekly content. Comment below to let us know what Python topic you'd like to see explained next.